Good afternoon, everyone. Anthony Wall Street Trader. It's 12:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 27, 2023. Here to talk about Ankr. This isn't financial advice. This is educational. Click to subscribe, the bell, share the video. Intraday updates are on the Twitter link in the description below. If you have any other cryptos or stocks you want covered, please add them in the comments below. You got to be in YouTube for that. I have the pipeline. I'm going to get to a lot of them this coming weekend. But in the meantime, let's go straight into Ankr. Before we get into the market action, let's talk about the background. Number one, these guys are a distributed platform, making it easier for developers to basically focus in on development of product. They don't want to sit around and clunk around with infrastructure, setting it up, configuring out the machinery and the hosting aspects. So Ankr does a lot of that for them, leveraging cloud providers such as AWS, Microsoft, and Google. So it really helps drive the velocity of these developers to commit code, get functionality out, and time to market these days is super important, and that's what Ankr's value proposition is. Now, they also provide a toolkit to these like-minded developers around RPC and API integrations to other blockchains that completely simplifies the process of building all of this stuff out. Now, if you look on the right over here, there's already around 7.2 billion daily API requests. That's almost a 40-50% uptick year over year in terms of the utilization of the Ankr network. They have 39, not Ankr, but there are 39,000 developers using Ankr software today. And it's covered globally. 30 plus regions, countries around the globe using this to help produce their products quickly. They have around 27 supported networks. But before we get into all that, let's also talk about the partnerships. MasterCard involved. Ankr is helping, part of the think tank at MasterCard, helping to kind of show them what they do, how they can help increase the speed at which software is released around their payments area. That's a big deal. Partnering with Aptos is another area that MasterCard is doing, the first RPC provider on the Aptos blockchain. Other areas like BNB, Binance Chain's ecosystem, is using Ankr as a key provider for infrastructure on that platform as well. Polygon, Sui Blockchain, Tron, the list goes on. But make no mistake about it, a lot of this stuff is getting developed. Binance, for example, started working with them just kind of as a project to see how good Ankr was. Ankr strutted their stuff and was adopted as the main infrastructure provider for BNB's chain ecosystem. The same thing I project will happen with MasterCard through time. If you look at the folks working with MasterCard, I think Ankr is one of the strongest ones in there. So we'll see over time how that works out with MasterCard. Now let's go on to a couple of the key features of Ankr's blockchain. Number one, RPC development is a huge area in terms of inter-process communication between different platforms. These guys do it. They offer these RPC toolkits to developers to help connecting them to 18 or more blockchains, and the list continues to grow. If you look at the multi-chain development, if you want to have an API that connects to this blockchain and that blockchain, and you don't want to have to keep writing different sections of code, you can kind of do it all in one place, and Ankr provides that, allowing developers to query multiple chains at once through one simple API. Also, game development. These guys are big with Unity and Unreal Engine, which are mostly gaming platforms, helping them allow people to put NFTs into their games and also into marketplaces as well. App chains, which is a big deal. This is where you can have a side chain where you, instead of having to create something, a layer one chain from scratch, it automatically gives you a chain out of the box. So another way in which the speed of development is vastly improved from Ankr. Now let's go straight into a couple of things on the market. But before we get into the market, let's just take a quick look at Ankr's supply. Right now, on the market capitalization, they're around $268 million. They are almost done with their inflation. You got 97%. As far as I'm concerned, inflation is done with this coin. So I'm pretty ecstatic about that as well. Now let's go straight into the markets. Just so everyone knows, especially if you're a first-time viewer, Ankr US dollar right over here. It's the left side of the equation. It's equal to two things that when multiplied together bring you back to Ankr and US dollar. The first one is the inner strength. This is comparing this altcoin to another cryptocurrency, which is Ankr to Bitcoin. The other one is the benchmark, which is Bitcoin itself. Make no mistake about it, both of these when multiplied together, which is exactly what you see below, is equal to Ankr and US dollars. Now, we like to look at inner strength specifically to see how strong this coin is doing relative to the benchmark, because this is where you see the real strength of Ankr, not by looking at the dollar version. But either way, we care about this side of the equation, because if you're putting your money in dollars, you want to know that this thing will go up. But the way we can get that and understand which way this is going is by looking at the underlying clues. Anyway, let's go take a look at the market. Right now, we'll look at the left side of the equation. We have this descending resistance line, and we have recently broken above it back in January of 2023, actually almost a week ago. So let's take a little bit closer look. And we have this is started from the 4th of Jan right here, and we've been on a trend going straight up. We went over this line of resistance, this long-term line of resistance. It now holds a support such that if we break below this area of support, it's possible and likely we could be hitting back down to 2.3 cents. We're right now 2.7 cents right now, with more local support around 2.71 cents. So we're at 2.76 cents, local support at 2.71 cents. I've actually picked some up 2 days ago. It's about flat from where I bought it. I saw a spike, which was nice, up to 31, came back. But we'll see. I think this thing's got some more growth. Now we're going to go take a look at the inner strength, which is Ankr compared to Bitcoin. Right over here, we have a downward channel. This is not good. So what I'd like to see is a nice lift up here to at least the upper side of the channel, and then hopefully we break out. Right now, this Ankr to Bitcoin pair is at 119. We have to get over 166, and then we can start the next leg up. But right now, we are in a downtrend, but I'm expecting at some point for this thing to turn up, and that point could be over here. If we start to trek down, we do have a resistance roughly around 79. Look, it's 25-30% down. Don't risk the money that you need on this, but this could yield some big upside moves if this thing does make the move we want it to. In the meantime, Bitcoin US dollar is up over this current resistance line, which broke back in about a couple of weeks ago. If we zoom into it and take a look right over here, we went up, we passed it. This is the long time area of resistance that had happened all the way back in sometime in 2021, 22, where it had hit 68,000 and has since been coming down. As you can see, as we zoom out, this came from up here. Let me just get these cycles out of the way. But all the way over here in November 21, we were at its peak in Bitcoin from 68,000 all the way down. We hit it once, we hit it again over here, and now we passed over it. So I think we're going to wind up heading back up to around 29 to 30,000. In this range is the next area of resistance, and we'll see how that goes. So in the meantime, like I said, inner strength, not great. However, it could possibly be where at some point when we get around in this area here in the first quarter of this year, I'd expect a real move out of Ankr. So I'm a long-time holder on this one. I think overall it's a really good technology, good backbone in terms of what these guys do. And if you look a little further, you can see these guys are 7.2 billion daily API requests. They have almost completely completed their inflation cycles. So I think over time, this thing will naturally just get stronger and stronger and stronger. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm out and hope everyone's having a good day. Take care.